Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm doing another video kind of recapping the last year for me, 2021. Now we're in a new year, 6 days in to 2022. And I say it's very, very cold here in the state of Kansas. It snowed last Tuesday, I believe. It's supposed to, or sometime last week it snowed. Snow's starting to go away. But I think it's going to snow again. So, and the weather's like below zero type weather. I mean, just ice bone, chilling cold here in Kansas. So definitely winter is here now. But yeah, I still want to recap what I've watched from the last year. Do a video kind of just to recommend what I watched to anybody that's, you know, if you've heard these titles or if you've not heard these titles and you hear it, hopefully maybe you'll check it out and hopefully you'll like it. So just giving some recommends from last year, just kind of recapping what I watched anyways. And like I said, I haven't gone out to the movie theaters at all in the last 2 years. And so all my movie watching is on the streaming channels. Like I said, Disney Plus is a big one. I watch all the time. HBO Max, I got this last year, so I've been watching a lot of HBO Max. So new movies come out on there. Also have my wife has Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, so I have access to those too. I don't watch those as much, but I try to keep track of what's on there, see if there's anything new that I'd like to watch anyway. So I got some of the major streaming channels anyways that I can watch and try to keep up the best I can with new stuff. But there's also a lot of new stuff I haven't gotten to yet. They're on my queue, and they've been sitting there, and I'm eventually going to get to it. Of course, it's usually like the darker dramas. I'm not in the mood to watch a dark drama, maybe, so it's harder to get to those type of movies. But I'm trying to get to all those anyway. So, and like I said, because I'm watching streaming, a lot of the movies I'm going to talk about are actually movies that came out in 2020 that I finally caught up on the streaming channels that came out. So. Anyway, so it's like a year ago, but still, I guess these are more. I'm trying to come up with the more recent movies that that I have seen. There's an app called letterboxd that I use. It's a really cool app if you like movies or if you like to rate movies and write movie reviews and make lists like I do. I use letterboxd a lot. You can also follow other people and read their reviews and stuff like that. And so it's cool sharing, movie love and movie knowledge with other people that like movies. Anyways, I don't have too many followers and I don't follow too many people. I'd love to have more followers, but because I love to watch movies and write movie reviews. I've always, ever since I was a kid, I always loved writing movie reviews anyways. Even movie reviews no one will ever see, I'll just write them just for the fun of it, just to read it myself, I guess. Anyway, so I do a lot there. So I was looking on my letterboxd app from last year, and I kind of looked at all the months because it keeps track of all the movies that you watch on there. And so I counted them all, and I counted 119 movies that I recorded that I watched on letterboxd. I'm pretty sure I watched more than that. I didn't record everything last year that I watched, review it. So it's probably a little higher than that, but that's a rough number of what I watched. According to letterboxd, October was my biggest month. I watched 19 movies, it says that month. So it's about 10 movies a month, basically, I'm watching. And I should say, these aren't just new movies, these are old movies, too, that I'm rewatching. Because I'm also trying to rewatch a lot of my favorite movies this last year. I kind of made a goal for myself. Something I want to do is I want to watch every movie that I own and review them. And so I have probably close to 200 movies right now in my Blu-rays and DVDs that I own. Anyway, so I'm not even halfway through those yet. So, and I started this I think in 2020, so it's been like 2 years, and I'm still like halfway through my list. Anyway, so I'm still going through all those movies. Also, now I got Disney Plus. This last year I got that. So I'm trying to watch every Disney animation movie, which is like maybe 60 or something like that. So, and I haven't watched, got a long ways to go in that. Also, I'm trying to watch every Pixar movie made on there. And I'm trying to watch every. This is kind of a strange one, maybe, but I'm trying to watch every Disney live-action movie from 1950 to 1980. I don't know, because I love those old. When I was a kid, I grew up watching a lot of the old Disney animation or Disney live-action movies. So I just trying to go back and watch them all and trying to, see if there's any good ones I missed and see how they hold up. Anyway, so I'm watching a lot of that. I'm trying to watch every MCU movie from Iron Man to Endgame. Anyway, so I have a lot of different goals I have in mind of big lists I want to try to watch these movies. So it's taken a while to get through them because I'm watching a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, and so I'm rewatching a lot of movies I've watched before and just trying to write movie reviews and make lists and just see how I still feel about the movies. Anyway, so that's a long intro to this list, but I want to do a list of top 10 best movies that I watched from this last year, which, like I said, aren't new movies necessarily, but just recent movies that I saw on streaming channels, and just give a little bit of recommend on those. So I'll do 10 through 6 in this video, and then do 5 through 1 on the other one. Anyway, so these aren't necessarily great movies, but these are the best movies I saw, or ones I kind of can recommend. At least give a little bit of a recommendation to it. Like I said, so I'll start off with number 10. 10, like I said, I had a hard time kind of coming up with this list because there's a lot of movies that I wasn't totally in love with, but I thought were enjoyable. And so number 10, I went with Mulan, which is the live-action movie off of the animated movie that came out in the 90s. This takes a more serious look maybe at the movie of Mulan. There's no musical numbers, which I kind of miss because I like the musical numbers. And I like the original Mulan, the Disney animated movie. So I kind of miss a lot of that, and I miss the dragon that Eddie Murphy voices, very funny. But overall, it still was an enjoyable movie, very beautifully shot, great costuming, some good action in there. Yeah, so I thought it was still a decent watch overall. Number 9, I'm going to go with another Disney Plus movie. This is a Disney animated movie that came out in 2020, I believe, or 2021. It might have been 2021. Raya and the Last Dragon. I think that might have been this last year because they also came out with Encanto just recently. So I don't know if they came out with 2 in 1 year. But Raya and the Last Dragon, it was an okay movie. Overall, pretty enjoyable. Great animation. The plot wasn't my favorite. It's a mysticism and dealing with South Asia culture, fantasy movie. But yeah, like not my favorite, but yeah, it was still enjoyable enough, I think, because of the overall animation was really, really good. And I did like the main dragon, played by Awkwafina. It was actually a decent character. It was funny at times. And the action scenes were done really well. So that number 9. Number 8, I have another Disney Plus movie, Black Widow, one of the MCU movies that came out. Seems like a movie that's been long overdue for Scarlett Johansson's character. And it's hard to come up with a Black Widow movie after Endgame, if you know what happens at the end of Endgame. It's like, how do we come up with it? So the Black Widow movie is kind of a prequel to a lot of the MCU movies. And I love the character. Scarlett Johansson's really great. And that character is really fun to watch. Her fighting style is very fun. I would say the movie was not as great as I was hoping it would be. Still, it's a fun movie. It's got action, it's got comedy, and all that. The plot's not the greatest, but like I said, it's just a fun movie to watch. Number 8. Number 7, the other MCU movie that I watched on Disney Plus, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is a kind of martial arts. It's the first, they said, Asian-driven MCU movie, basically. Basically, so they're really promoting that as like a first for Marvel. And so I'm a huge fan of martial arts movies. I got quite a bit of those, and I enjoy watching those. So I love a good action movie with martial arts in it. Anyway, so this had some decent scenes. The bus scene towards the beginning is a really good scene, I thought. Really well done. And none of the other scenes don't match up to that one. But again, it's another action comedy. Aquafina again shows up. Seems like she's almost in every movie I watch nowadays. But she has some good comic relief in there. And the last section of the movie, I didn't care so much. It did bring up more fantasy into it, which I was just interested more in the martial arts than the fantasy element. But overall, still enjoyable movie. Again, yeah, just like Black Widow, I think. And the last movie I'm going to talk about on here is Bill and Ted's Face the Music, which this was a sequel. I don't know if anybody was asking for. I wasn't asking for it. I watched the first two Bill and Ted movies when I was a kid and enjoyed them a little bit. I haven't really rewatched them in a while. I don't know if they're just okay, goofy comedies, I guess. I don't know if they're that good. I don't know if they really deserved a sequel to it. And so when it came out, I was like not really interested in watching it. But I heard the reviews were pretty good of it. So it came out on HBO Max. It was one of the first movies I watched off of HBO Max when I got that subscription. And I was pleasantly surprised. I really kind of enjoyed the movie. It was really a funny movie, interesting plot to it. Yeah, just a very enjoyable experience. And I guess I liked it so much because it was way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a total bomb movie. So, but I kind of enjoyed the two characters. Now they're older and they're having marital problems. And there's some, yeah, I guess a decent comedy in there, good writing in there. It's funny, Keanu Reeves keeps making these sequels to movies that came out a long time ago. Bill and Ted, and he just did Matrix sequel. It's like, we don't need these sequels, but I don't know why he's coming out with these. I just want John Wick movies. John Wick is so good. Just keep giving me John Wick movies, Keanu Reeves. But I was pleasantly surprised. This was actually a pretty good comedy. Bill and Ted's Face the Music, anyway. So that's 10 through 6 recommendations. If you come across these movies, yeah, give it a try. I don't think you're going to hate them. You might not love them, but it might have a good time, fun time watching them. So that's the end of this video, and thank you for watching and liking, and thank you to all subscribers for supporting the channel. Really appreciate you all. Hope you're having a wonderful year.